Jingle cross 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Another sign of the blatant commercialization of and/or war on Christmas. At least we're out in Iowa, a real American, reliably red state. Wait, what? Blue? 5 of the past 6 elections? Thanks, Obama. And I guess also Al Gore, Bill Clinton, and Mike Dukakis. Anyway, last week's start stirred up a little discussion about the merits of starting in front of the saddle versus on it. I have some physicists on the case, but in the meantime, don't tell me that CannondaleCyclocrossWorld.com's Tim Johnson's hole shot is the result of that. This grate here is definitely a local low point, meaning that everyone over here is basically starting uphill. Johnson would have had first call to staging, so I'm guessing he lined up like this on purpose. Ferocious winds and a wide, flat course for the first corners meant that there was plenty of time to recover if your start wasn't fantastic. The course had a bit of Euro to it, with steep stairs, spots that verged on muddy, and serious vertical, which Giants Adam Craig uses here to take the lead, and that could further open the door to recovery from a bad start. There was also a twisty technical descent that you could... What? What was... I'll deal with it next lap. Let's just note that as the pack comes through, the relatively low frequency of crashes indicates the challenge is more how much speed you can carry versus how well you can stay upright. Craig continued to push the pace through this tape maze, with Johnson close behind, but as Rally Clement's Ben Bairden discovered here, the lingering moisture ensured that the grass bends weren't exactly gimmies. The barriers, on the other hand, were a bit more forgiving, low and wide-topped, but I'm still going to say it's a good thing that Craig is on tubulars. By the end of lap 1, the wind was still keeping a damper on attacks. You can see Rafa Focus's Jeremy Powers taking a casual look back, and then later Optum Kelly Benefit's Jeremy Duran wiping his nose. With the climb looming, no one was eager to waste energy early. So let's take a look at that corner. The idea is to carry as much speed as possible and still make the bend without your front wheel sliding out. Craig's novel solution is to pivot the entire bike to minimize the amount of time his momentum is out of line with his front wheel. Johnson takes the more conventional approach, slowing to minimize his momentum before turning sharply, letting gravity pull him through. Duran had the crash of the day, not quite starting wide enough, leaving his weight a little too far forward and trying to feather the front brake, losing his front wheel in the process. But even with the tumble, the group proved hard to split, until Cal Giants' Logan Owen kicked off lap 3 with a ferocious attack. Bairden let the others chase before killing all of them up the stairs in this flyover, but even with the pack in contact, Owen kept the heat on, whipping his rear wheel through the downhill section. By 4 to go, he and Johnson had a gap over a disintegrating bunch, and the veteran was even, eventually, cajoled into setting pace. Powers, Bairden, and Craig got back in touch over Mount Crumpet, while Johnson countered with a well-executed dive bomb and pushed the tempo through the tape maze. The duo still had space at 3 to go, as Bairden's teammate Jamie Driscoll rejoined the front of the race, but over the flyover it was clear that their cooperation had concluded. Bairden and Johnson both made probing attacks through the rest of the lap, but once again it was all together at the start-finish, where Jamie Driscoll took a flyer, again unable to create lasting separation. By the bell lap, everyone in the lead group of 6 had taken a pull with one exception, Powers, and as a frustrated-looking Tim Johnson seems to know, that tends to be a bad thing. The Rafa Focus rider made his move on a grassy section early in the lap, provoking an almost immediate response from the group. But after nearly stacking it on a course stake after the flyover, the dead-ahead pure wattage ascent of Mount Crumpet saw the gap open to 6 seconds. Bairden and Craig kept the chase going, prompting Powers to make one last acceleration in the home stretch, but it was still a comfortable victory for the Rafa Focus rider ahead of the Belgian, with Craig rolling in behind for third. I'm Cosmo Catalano, and that's how the race was won.